Hey everyone, welcome to your special astrological insights. We're going to talk a little bit about the Pisces lunar eclipse. It'll be exact at 10:18 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time on Thursday. That'll be 12:18 a.m. for you folks on the East Coast on Friday morning. It's going to be happening in right around 5 degrees of Pisces. Now, every full moon, the moon is just really borrowing light, right? She's not the source, she's a mirror. She's catching the sun and she's handing it back to us. But Thursday night, for just a few hours, even that will get taken away. That Earth's going to slide right in between. Here we go. We're going to slide in there. We're going to throw a shadow across. And instead of going black, the moon is going to turn a deep, smoldering red. Almost her whole surface just swallowed up, except for the edge, still holding on at the rim. What's interesting is it's happening in Pisces, right? That's a sign with no real edges to it. And this eclipse isn't just a standalone moment. We've also got Uranus tangled up in it. And Uranus, planet of disruption, sudden clarity. It's the one that loves to come in and shake things loose so you can finally see them. So I'd say don't be surprised if you've literally been wide awake at 2 a.m. every day this week. Eclipses also tend to carry that same jolt. They wake us up to something that we just couldn't see before. There'll also be a T square in the sky at the same time. The sun and moon are opposite each other. Mercury is sitting right on the sun, and Uranus is sitting at the tension point of the whole thing. All happening in mutable signs, which is that everything is shifting energy. So if you felt scattered, restless, on edge, wondering why everything suddenly feels like it's moving at double speed, that's this. And we're in Virgo season. Wants routines, structure, and systems that work. But this eclipse is also asking you to shake something up from the inside of those systems. So it's a bit of a push and pull, tug of war. Here's the balance that I want you to try and hold. Mercury wants you zoomed all the way in. Every leaf, every branch, every little detail feels urgent right now. But see if you can also zoom all the way out, the whole forest, the whole sky the forest is growing under. Can you hold the tiny detail and the massive picture of that at the same time? That's the work for this week. So I would say expect some surprises. Eclipse seasons have a way of removing things. And it also has a way of dropping in flashes of insight out of absolutely nowhere because this one's a lunar eclipse. That terrain is going to feel extra emotional. It's the internal stuff that's resurfacing, though I think plenty will still show up from our human side in those outside situations because that's just how lunar eclipses work. If you want to personalize this for yourself, look at where your Virgo and your Pisces sit in your own chart. Whatever house that lights up, that's where the eclipse energy is doing its most work for you. And if those are sitting close to your natal planets on your chart, you're going to feel it even louder. There's something in that part of your life that's asking to be addressed right now. Here's some things I want you to sit with during this cycle. What have you been carrying since the whole eclipse story began for us back in the fall of 2024 that's really finally ready to be set down? Where are you still trying to control something that's really only going to respond to surrender? What have you been avoiding by staying lost in a feeling, a fantasy, or somebody else's crisis? And if you stopped reflecting everyone else's light for one night, what would you actually see in yourself? What's the difference between the faith that you've carried and the escapism that's cost you? The spiritual alignment lives here in a few places. Letting go of needing to see clearly right away. Some things just resolve in the dark and not the light. Practicing surrender as something you choose, not something that you're going to collapse into. Protecting your energy from anyone who wants to hand you what's theirs to carry. Trusting a feeling before you can explain it. And closing a 2-year chapter without needing a tidy bow on it. Now, I want to give you something that's kind of fun to actually do with all of this during this eclipse energy. This is an ancient practice. It's sleeping on purpose with a question in mind. And then you're trusting that answer to come through in the dream instead of waiting for it in the waking mind. Friends at the Witches Circle put this little narrative together that they put out, and I think that this defines the practice well. Quote, the old Greeks called the practice incubation, and one of the places they did it was a temple at Epidaurus, built for the healer Asclepius. People who were sick or troubled will travel a long way to get there. When they arrived, they would bathe and make an offering. Then they were led to a chamber, and there in the dark, they would sleep. And while they slept, they believe a God would come to them and they would dream of the exact thing that they needed to heal. This would be a dream that they invited, that they asked for, and it would arrive the moment that they stopped trying and let go and went into sleep. In the morning, priests recorded what had happened, and some of those records survived, cut into stone. People came carrying something and left without it, and they could not say always say how. End quote. And it's so true. You don't need to be in a temple or travel some exotic place. You need the ordinary space that you cross into every single night on your way into sleep. That moment right before you let go, when you're just still, just barely awake enough to set an intention. So, during that lunar eclipse in Pisces, I want you to take that question with you to bed. Something that you've been holding on to for way too long. Then, just like we release the day, let it go. You don't have to see the whole shape of what's ending tonight. Some doors are going to close full in light and some close in the dark, red edged and quiet. And only you understand why you walked through them as you're looking back. So let this one close however it needs to close. And this week, pay attention to the coincidences, the synchronicities that feel just a little too on the nose for you. Trust your dreams and your gut more than usual. Your intuition is going to be sharper during this period. And if you feel your hand being pushed toward a big decision, forced towards something, try to sit with the insight first before you act on it if you can. Notice what you're resisting, what's clearly not working anymore, and then give yourself permission to just not have all the answers yet. Then share in the comments or grab your journal and write down what you're releasing, what surfaced for you in the dark, and what you're carrying forward into whatever comes next.